99% of you will have never used a float like this, but should you be trying it? Ooh, that's a big fish. Feels like I've literally hooked the bottom. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come on! Get on the flat float, because trust me, there is no other buzz like it. This is a flat float. It's mainly used in mainland Europe when you're targeting massive fish on big, powerful rivers. And I've actually used a float just like this to great effect here in England. So I've brought you to the mighty River Trent. No better place than to put this through its paces. I've actually fished on this exact peg before. Filming a mat and tank vlog, we fished the flat float for big fish. We caught bream, chub, some amazing barbel, and the buzz of hooking those fish on the flat float was like nothing else before. That's exactly why I wanted to bring the cameras here and give you a proper rundown about catching big fish on the flatty. Choosing the right weight of flat float to fish is quite a tricky thing to achieve really, because there's a lot of different variables. There's a lot of rivers, they're fast flowing, some are slower moving, and flat floats go from 1 gram all the way to 50 grams. So how do you choose the right one? A little bit of a tip from me, have a look at the river. If it's fast flowing, use a heavier flat float. If it's slower, you can get away with a lighter one. Try and use as light a flat float as you can get away with without it running through your peg really fast, because it's going to be better for hitting bites, you're going to lose less fish. Generally, it's going to fish a lot nicer. But the one final tip I'll give you, you've got to have that stable presentation. So if you have to go heavier, do it. When you are fishing the flat float, everything needs to be beefed up, because you're going to be fishing for potentially massive fish, and you can't let your gear let you down. So in terms of the float I'm actually using today, it's a Creluso torpedo float. These are brilliant when you're fishing in, I'd say, medium to fast flowing water. Because of the unique body shape, you get that perfect presentation of your hook bait nice and stable on the bottom. So I've got a 25 gram torpedo float on. Then the actual main line, it's actually 10-pound Shield shock leader, which is 0.30 in diameter. And the reason why I've gone for a really heavy duty mainline is because the rig goes through some serious hammer. There's loads of rocks, there's weed, there's snags in the edges. So if I am hooking big fish, that one thing I don't want to let me down is my main line. So 10-pound Shield shock leader, that's going to be absolutely ideal. Then I've got a black hollow prototype elastic we're actually working on. It's nice, and so I'm going to say between a 14 and a 16 rating, but it's hollow, it's going to stretch quite a bit, but I don't want something that's going to stretch too far, because you've got to have a little bit of control in your rig and the fish you're hooking. Then I'm actually going to work down to the bulk of shot, which is actually a weighted bullet, and I've got 3 of them, 3 different weighted bullets that's going to shot that float. Then that's running down to 3 number 8s, and just below that I've got a nice heavy duty double swivel, which again is all beefed up. It's really sort of aggressive fishing, and I don't want a little teeny tiny swivel. Everything's quite heavy duty. And then I've got 50 centimeters of 0.25 pure fluorocarbon, and all I've got in between that 50 centimeters is 2 number 8s and 2 number 8s right next to the loop to loop connection, which I'm actually going to put my hook length onto. Now my hook length is 0.23 Engage Supernatural. It's a really durable hook length material, and that's what needs to be as durable as possible. So 0.23 is going to be perfect diameter. That's running down to a 12 Super XS spade end hook. It's our specimen barb version. A 12 or a 10 is probably going to be perfect for the hook bait that I'm going to be using, which is either going to be half a lobworm, 2 or 3 dendrobinas, or a massive bunch of maggots. But as you can see, it's all durable, heavy duty tackle that hopefully isn't going to let me down. I'm going to land pretty much everything I'm going to hook. One vital piece of kit when you are fishing the flat float is a front support bar. I can't stress how important this is. You've got to get your flat float fishing super stable, and the only way to achieve that is with that front support bar. So literally get your flat float, ship it out, put the pole between your legs, get it locked in on that front support bar, and you've got ultimate presentation. The hook baits we're going to be using, going to keep it quite simple, because I think I want to maximise fishing time, so I don't want to be coming in and out too often, and I want to use baits that I know work here. So the first one up my sleeve is lobworms. That's a fantastic bait to use when you are fishing rivers. Everything eats lobbies. Then I've got some dendrobina worms, again very similar to lobworms, and I've just got some maggots with me, so I might put 4, 5, even 6 maggots on a nice big hook bait. Fishing for big fish, that's what it's all about. So first cast of the day, always exciting. I've slipped on probably half a lobby there, massive hook bait, and I'm going to show you how to actually introduce your rig into the peg. It's a lot like any other pole rig or anything like that really. I'm just going to flick it out. There's quite a bit of weed in the edge here, so I don't want to flick it out any close to myself. Just ship it out. I'm fishing at about 30 metres today, which I've found a nice flat area, which is very important. A nice flat run, the bottom's nice and hard, and I've put in 5 bait droppers. And all I'm going to do to present the flat flow, it's a bit windy, so making life a bit harder for myself, I'm literally going to drop that 25 gram bulk right over where I've put the bait droppers, and I'm going to follow that rig down, and I'm going to put it in my front bar, just like that. And as you can see, my pole tip is actually in the water, and that's very, very important, because you've got to create that presentation where your float's sitting up, and it means that all of your hook length and rig is fishing perfectly. And as you can see, that torpedo is sitting straight up, which means I've got the perfect weight of float on. If your torpedo is pulling left or right, it means you've probably got too light a float on or too heavy a float. So you're looking for that bristle to be sitting upright perfectly like that. That's absolutely brilliant. Plumbing the depth can be quite a daunting task when you're fishing with a massive flat float. I've got a 25 gram flat float on today, and you're not going to be using a 20 gram plummet because the bulk of your weight is heavier than the plummet that you're going to be using. So you need to make sure you're using a heavier plummet than the weight of your flat float. So a 45 gram or a 60 gram inline plummet are the ones that you have to use when you're fishing with heavier flat floats. And what I'm looking for is a nice clean flat area on the bottom. So if I have to move my flat float down, say a foot, where I think the fish might be just edging off a little bit, I want to make sure it's nice and flat. So I've found an area around about 1 metre or 2 metres that's lovely and flat. And in terms of how much line you put on the bottom, personally I like as much line on the bottom as possible. I've probably got about 50-60 centimetres on the bottom, which is a good amount, but I want that stable presentation. This style of fishing isn't about being busy, shipping in and out, trying different hook baits, being quick. You're fishing for big fish. Today I might only be fishing for a handful of bites, so it's literally a case of creating a little area on the bottom where all my bait is and fishing my float bang on top of it. So be nice and patient, don't be too rushing about. You've got to wait and be patient for those big fish. There we go, there we go. There we go, that is big fish. Oh. Keep your pole nice and high now. If you have got a massive fish on like this, that feels big. You've got to, ooh, that's a big, big fish. Oh, flipping heck. Well, that's what it's about. You've got to try and keep your pole nice and high. You've got loads of snags in this river. Big flipping heck, that is unbelievable. Well, you've got loads of snags, big boulders. Oh, that's what that pole's designed for. Whew. God, feels like I've hooked into a whale. Oh. One massive part of this, when you are playing big fish like this on a river and there are snags, do not be too eager to ship back. As you can see, I've not even moved past what I was fishing. If you ship back, and if I was playing the fish, that is a big, big barbel. If I ship back really quickly and the fish has still got a lot of energy, all it's going to do is going to find a snag, or even go even further out into the river. So now I'm going to have to ship back. Oh. Now it's a case, just trying to keep it up. Tell you what, you are not getting more challenging conditions to play a barbel in than this. I'm saying ever. It's absolutely almost impossible to play it because of the wind. Here we go, here we go. Yes! Ah! I'm knackered. Whew. If you're targeting bigger fish like chub, bream, barbel with a flat flow, even big perch, I think you've got to create a nice little area on the bottom. I won't be feeding just one bait dropper full of bait. There's too many fish in places like the River Trent, and you've got to create that little area, get the competition going. So as a general rule of thumb, 4 to 5 bait droppers is going to be perfect. Create a nice little area, then you can see how your session goes. In terms of topping up and how much to feed throughout a session, I'll probably look to feed one bait dropper after every good sized fish, or after every say 25-30 minutes of fishing. Don't leave it too long. There's a lot of fishing rivers like roach, dace, perch that can eat a lot of bait, so you've got to have the confidence that you're fishing over a nice area of bait. Really important part about this fishing is making sure you've got a lot of bait in your peg all the time. These are big fish and they can quickly wipe you out. So I've just had that barbel and I'm going to get a bait dropper straight in over the top of it, because you've got to keep that bait going in. I've got to be 100% confident that I'm fishing over bait. So I'm going to put another bait dropper straight in, and on the subject of the bait, I've ran you through this like Bombay mix as you can see. But one thing I didn't mention is what I've added to it. I've added some big barbel liquid and the hook bait enhancement. It really stinks like a high oil, fishy smell. That's very important because venues like the River Trent that see a lot of barbel anglers, they're really tuned in to liquids and glugs. So I've added that to all of this mix and it's created the perfect big fish Bombay mix. So I'm going to put that straight in now. I'm going to go straight back in and hopefully get another truly epic battle. I don't know if I'm recovered yet fully, but I'm going to try my best. Another point on the actual way you actually introduce the bait dropper, you'll notice I've got a little cable tie just here on my section. That's very important because I don't want to just get my bait dropper, drop it in here and like literally ship out as quick as possible. So a nice tip, put a cable tie on, get the line, which again is £10 shield. You'll notice it's just a top kit, not got a flat float on here. That's another tip, I'm getting ahead of myself. I've got a spare top kit and I've literally got a cable tie halfway along it, which I'm going to wrap that £10 shield shock leader material. And it's the same what I've got on my flat float, and it just means I've got a really sort of durable way of introducing that bait dropper, because I wouldn't ever want to put my hook length material on this bait dropper. It could damage it, and if I do hook another fish it could potentially break. So that's a great little tip, that, and one thing I always do when I am fishing a bait dropper, you've got to have a spare top kit with a thicker elastic as well. So I'm just going to stand up here. I'm going to ship it all the way out. So this is what you have to do. Standing up makes it a lot easier, especially when it's quite a deep venue. So I'm going to ship it out. Again, the wind's not being my friend right now. It's very windy. Now, all you've got to do with your hands, twist it, and all of a sudden, it'll release from that cable tie. Oh, it's just caught on my side puller there. There we go. So it'll release from that cable tie. And then, you can literally pinpoint place this exactly where you want it. So I'm fishing right there, so enter the bait dropper into the water nice and slowly now, and I'm going to drop it right there. That's perfect, ideal, that right where I want it. That's perfect. As you can see, bait dropper has emptied, it's done its job. Now I've got a lovely pile of bait right on the bottom, and I'm going to present my flat float right on top of it. The River Trent is quite a unique river really. It sees a lot of barbel anglers and they feed a lot of pellets and boilies and really high oil baits. So the baits on my side tray reflect that. I've got a nice mixture of casters, hemp and halibut pellets. So I've got a right little Bombay mix along with some chopped worms. So I've got a big handful of chopped worms and a few lob worms. They're brilliant bait on rivers to include in your arsenal. You need them on rivers like this. So I've chopped a few worms up nice and roughly. Then I've added a nice mixture of 2, 3 and 4 mil halibut pellets, which are super high oil. Then a good mixture of hemp and casters. Proper Bombay mix, but that's the feeding. That's a nice amount of particles which I want to be feeding throughout the day. Go on then. Yes! Come on! Wow! Another big fish this. Oh, it's banging its head. Oh, wow. Look at that pole. Oh. Oh. Wow, this feels absolutely huge. Such impressive fish these are. Look at that pole. On the subject of that, I've been mega impressed with this. Engage Power XS. If you're after a pole for big fish fishing, this is the one. Whew. Feels absolutely huge. Really, really big fish. Oh, I'm gonna have to hold it like that. My back is killing. You can hear the wind smashing through that elastic. I'm really going to take my time with this. Try and enjoy the fight, but I will say they're really strong fish. I mean, that's ridiculous. I think the beauty of the flat float for me is the fact that when you are fishing for these big fish like this, you have no idea what it could be. It could be a 6 or 7 pound chub, it could be a 7 pound bream, or it could be one of these massive, massive barbel that pull your absolute arm off. And that is the beauty of the Trent as well, to be honest. The fact that you have no idea what you're going to hook next. And there's lots of rocks out there, so I don't want it to get too low in the water, but literally nothing I can do. Look at the state of that pole. I've never seen a pole bend that much. I feel like my back's going to snap. Great bite. Hope the camera boys got the bite because it was incredible. Might get a glimpse of her here. Oh my god, that is one of the biggest barbel I've ever caught. That is absolutely huge. Come on. You take his time here. That's an absolutely incredible fish. Try and take my time with her. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come on! Woohoo! Yes! Oh! What a fish that is! Wow! That's massive. One thing I want to stress is when you have caught a big powerful fish like a barbel, they use a lot of energy up and you need to let them recover in the edge. Don't get them straight out or anything like that, just let them recover in the edge. Well, look at that for an incredible fish. 11.5 pound prime barbel from the mighty River Trent on a flat float, and the tackle to handle this is absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant fishing, love the experience. Get on the flat float because trust me, there is no other buzz like it when you're catching and hooking fish like this.